I'm Allendale's chief meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. You know what? It's really kind of interesting as we watch the weather here to see how many different opinions there are on the weather. It was pointed out to me just again this morning that somebody out there is talking about a nice 10-day dry window for planting. Obviously, we have to be talking about localized areas, maybe central parts of Minnesota, something like that, if we're going to be talking about a 10-day dry window for planting. Why do I say that? Because there's rain moving into a large part of the Corn Belt as we go through this weekend. Now, is it going to be unbelievably heavy, crop-destroying, soil profile maddening rain? No. I'm keeping the numbers out there at a half to 1.5 inches of rain, and I'll even try and finesse it down a little bit more. I think a large part of the Corn Belt that sees rain will probably be to the low end of that range, 5-6 of an inch or so. Where I think we can see the heavier rain is going to be coming out of Missouri through southern parts of Illinois into southwest Indiana. That's where I think we can see an inch, inch and a quarter, inch and a half fairly easily, and it will be thunderstorm based. But I like 70% of the Corn Belt picking up decent moisture as we go through the weekend, anywhere from Friday night late on through, you know what, I'll stretch it to Sunday midday or Sunday afternoon. The low is coming out of the Central Plains. It pushes up across parts of Missouri and then kind of curves back to the south and east. So that's one of the reasons why the upper Midwest is not going to be involved in this precipitation outbreak. But to sit back and talk about a 10-day window of dry weather for planting, just crazy. But I'll also tell you where it comes from. Models are not worth the paper that they're printed on. It's not worth the computers that they're being run on right now because there's no consensus one way or the other. I feel very strongly about the next 5 days with regard to the weather. Another cold night coming in tonight, no doubt about it. It's been well advertised. We've been talking about it for what seems like forever. All right, the cold air will start to move out a little bit as we see this low start to kick out of the Central Plains. We'll see some southerly wind flow, bumping temperatures up. Are we going up to above normal levels? No. Not even remotely close. But we're not going to be down in the sub-freezing range that we've been here recently as well. As we go from Friday night through Saturday, the rains come in. It's well advertised they're coming. You will be seeing some moisture, 70% of the Corn Belt. Where the models get very squirrely is for the Monday night, Tuesday time period right on through the rest of next week and the weekend. And what I think we've got going on here, we alluded to this a little bit in the online write-up this morning, but I want to kind of expound on it a little bit. Models are having a lot of trouble with the cold air, specifically the upper level trough that is initially bringing this cold air in, and as it moves off to the east, getting some good strong low pressure areas ejected into it or coming into it. And what models are trying to do, I believe, is develop a strong cutoff low that kind of parks over eastern Canada, the mid-Atlantic to the New England area, and just kind of circulates, gets a little wobble going. And that's why these models are having the storm systems coming in from the west get steered down to the south. Okay, that's great. That makes plenty of meteorological sense. Here's where the problem is. If you've got that big upper level low wobbling up there, drawing moisture off of the North Atlantic, coming through Quebec, Canada, it's rotating around, it's a strong low, it's cut off, you've got good north winds coming down the backside. It's going to promote a colder scenario for the Corn Belt and one that has plenty of clouds and moisture coming around the top side of the low. Again, is this going to be a be-all, end-all, we have an inch of rain every day scenario? No, it's not. But it is not a completely dry scenario either. So what I'm doing in my forecast is saying, okay, look, we don't know quite how this low is going to be moving off and moving away. We think it is going to park here for a while. There probably will be plenty of moisture or too much moisture over the East Coast. But if we've got it there, you've got to allow for at least some action back across the Corn Belt as you go through next week. I think that from Tuesday through Friday, you open that window up. I said in my online write-up this morning, Tuesday through Thursday. Shoot, I'll give you another day. Tuesday through Friday, you got to keep the door open for the cooler than normal temperatures, and I still think anywhere from a quarter to maybe half an inch of moisture to fall off and on in there. Will everybody get it at the same time? No. Will everybody get it even? No. I think your coverage there probably 50 to 60%, but this is by no means a fantastic planting event coming forward towards us either. I actually like the longer term scenario with a little bit more certainty than I like next week, because next week you've got 5 different models saying 5 different things. At least in the extended forecast period, you have models zooming in on a scenario that brings in some moisture around the 5th and 6th of May, maybe another front around the 9th or 10th. I don't think we're truly going to be seeing 2 strong fronts there. I think as time goes on, we're going to meld those together, get one event in early May, and then kind of shift the pattern to a little bit drier. But at least you have some semblance of some model agreement farther out there, rather than having 5 different models go 5 different ways. And that's what we're looking at. So take the conservative approach here. Don't be running out there and saying, hey, we've got a beautiful window coming. We don't have that. And I think that next week could be a lot more messy than what a lot of models and a lot of forecasts are saying. I don't think it's going to be horrible, but I don't think it's going to be smooth sailing either. If you've got any questions on the weather in the meantime, give me a call at Allendale. Have a great day. I'm meteorologist Ryan Martin.